Hey everyone, welcome in to another daily editorial here on the KE Report. I'm getting an update from Novo Resources, and we're following up on some recent news regarding the JV with De Grey Mining, or at least De Grey Mining working its way up to a 50-50 JV on the Egina Gold projects. The De Grey just announced that they have reached $7 million Australian spent and are continuing to work towards that 50-50 JV. A lot of details around here, so that's why I'm bringing on Mike Spreadborough, executive co-chairman of Novo Resources, to discuss all of this. Novo is traded on the TSX under the symbol NVO, on the OTCQX under the symbol NSRPF, and the Australian exchange NVO. So, Mike, let's just bring everybody up to speed on all of De Grey's work up to this time at the Egina Gold projects. There's been a lot of drilling done here. Just remind everybody the total drilling that has been completed on these JV projects, please.
Yeah, good to catch up, Corey. Maybe just a quick step back. So, we ended this joint venture with De Grey in June last year. That was following Novo completing about 60,000 metres of air core and RC drilling. And on the back of that drilling, De Grey got very excited with our results, and they saw the same, mineralisation tenure as they saw in their project. And a reminder, their project is 12.7 million ounces, huge, and it's only 28 kilometres away as their proposed processing plant. So that's how it all started. So since we completed the deal with De Grey, they have now, completed over 35,000 metres of air core and about another 10,000 metres of RC drilling. So they've been very active. As you said, they've now completed the $7 million minimum spend and have committed to complete their full JV spend of $25 million. So a further $18 million will be spent, and they have somewhere around, 2.5 years to complete that expenditure. So absolutely fantastic news for shareholders that De Grey like what they're seeing and they're going to continue. And why is it so important? Well, they want to put a second processing plant in the area, which will only be 5 kilometres away. So De Grey hope to make a decision to mine on their big project, but they're already strategically looking at the next steps. So we're right next door.
So this drilling has been focused on four main prospects: Heckmeyer, Irvin, Lowe, and Willens. Are all these targets similar in nature then?
They are indeed. They were identified by the Novo work, and De Grey have continued to follow up with air core work. And I should explain that because it's a little bit unusual for non-Australians. So in Australia, we've got a lot of cover, and you just can't drill deep holes all over the place. It's too expensive. So air core is a very cheap, simple technology that allows you to drill through the cover and take a sample of the bedrock. And from that, you can then put together a good geological picture. So when people look at our news releases, you'll see dots everywhere because you drill these holes, 25 metres apart, maybe on lines, 50 metres apart. So you really are trying to build a map of the geology using very cheap air core. So that's what you've seen. They've been busy extending the air core work that Novo started across those four main targets. And what are we looking for? We're looking for the base intrusion, igneous intrusions that are similar to what they see in their project at Hemi that built up 12.7 million ounces. So that's what's going on. So you'll see occasionally in our reporting, they'll get some really good hits at air core, and they'll quickly follow up with RC drilling deeper holes to see if that air core follow-up really leads to a good intrusion. So it's very much, a lot of drilling, progressive drilling, really focusing on looking for that intrusion. And it is supported a bit by geophysics, and we've done some drone geophysics recently, and we'll put that together. So this work will continue through this year, probably into maybe the early part of next year. And we all look forwards to one day, getting the phone call that they've really struck the intrusion that will deliver, a good project.
Okay, so the air core leading to the RC drilling, more in a targeting sense. Can you tell us where most of the RC drilling has happened then on either of these four targets, or has it been more evenly spread across all four?
Yeah, it has been evenly spent to follow up. We've done a little bit more in Irvine and Heckmeyer compared to the others because we've seen some interesting base metals of all things. But Heckmeyer and Irvine have clearly received most of the RC drilling. But when you see the release, you'll see we've done some at Wilhelms and everywhere else. Just following up on positive results. Again, trying to build the geological map because geophysics don't give you the full story and it's undercover, 8 to 20 meters of soil on top of the bedrock. So we keep looking. But this is how De Grey found Hemi. They did a lot of air core drilling and ended up drilling 2 RC holes, and those RC holes had huge grade intersections, and that led to, their full discovery. And just a reminder, the De Grey system that we're looking for, the Hemi system, it runs at an average grade of about 1.5, but they have 12 million ounces of it, so it makes a big project. We're looking for exactly the same big system, expecting grades around 1.5, 2 grams per tonne.
How deep does some of this mineralization go down to? How deep do you need to drill these RC holes?
Look, it varies, but don't quote me here, but I think it's roughly about 150 metres to 200 metres that De Grey have drilled in their areas, and they're definitely considering drilling deeper holes to firm up maybe an underground option. So, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a system that would build a nice, great open pit, hopefully down the track, all speculative, but that's what we're looking for.
Okay, so approximately how big are these prospects or the overall target area that they continue to drill, AC and the RC drilling?
Oh, yeah, very hard to tell, but we've seen on previous releases with those intrusion bodies that we're chasing are between 20 and up to 150 meters in cross section. So again, a bit variable in size and width, but it's those intrusions that we're looking for that contain the gold mineralization that allows you to develop a resource down the track. So it is fantastic greenfields exploration. As I said, the focus is continue this work to get, a good understanding, looking for a discovery. We're so fortunate De Grey have done the work on their ground, so they're bringing a lot of knowledge to the project. And more importantly, here they are spending $25 million on a project that will lead to 50%. So Novo shareholders will have 50% of the upside. So it's a fantastic deal, and it's a great opportunity for Novo shareholders.
Okay, and the important thing here is that De Grey is spending, again, that $18 million more to work their way up to the JV. Novo doesn't have to spend any of this money. Do you have any more details that you can share with us in terms of what De Grey is going to do next for their exploration spend?
So for this year, as some people would, recall, in the Pilbara, it gets very hot in this year. It's already running at 40 degrees temperature, but we will see some diamond drill programs completed by De Grey this year. And then you'll see us stop until early next year, February or March, when the temperature comes off and the cyclone season risks come down. But the reason for diamond drilling is it allows you to get a good core of rock that will help support the geology and the interpretation of mineralization. So you'll see a little bit more news flow coming out of this project, but it will be quite quiet until February and March next year when De Grey will go back drilling. And again, very aggressive. De Grey have had up to 2 drilling rigs on this project, so that really shows the priority that they have on this project, and they've been great joint venture partners, and they've been great to work with, and it's been a really good success for everyone.
Okay, now just for clarification, that's nowhere close to having a resource completed on this, right? You're still really just working on which targets to focus more of this RC and diamond drilling on.
Yeah, spot on. Yes. So we're still, we'd love to have an indication of a resource, but no, this whole program is all about trying to track down those intrusions that will hold the main gold mineralization that will then lead to a possible resource.
Okay. Now is this De Grey's major focus when it comes to exploration outside of their own land that is, again, very close by to these JV properties?
Yeah, very much so. They are doing some more exploration in the kind of western side of their tenements, but this is their main project at the moment. And as I said, strategically, it's important for them because down the track, they'd like to put a second processing plant in the western part of their tenements, which would only be 5 kilometres away from the drilling that we're here. So there's a very strategic rationale for De Grey to be involved with Novo, and we really do welcome their support.
So there is a map from that news release that just shows the location of De Grey's project and then the JV projects, or this working towards the JV projects. Has the focus really been on targets close to the border of these projects, both of them?
A kind of bit, yes, but it's also a bit coincidental that if you look at some of those pictures in the news release, you'll see the black lines which represent the shear structures. And those black lines you can see flow from the Hemi deposit through to our ground, and that's where most of the drilling is really focused on, to really hone in around those shear structures, which ideally have been the conduits for the gold mineralisation.
Okay. So, Mike, I guess big picture, when investors take a look at Novo Resources, you have this JV where De Grey is, it looks like, continuing to spend quite a bit of money working towards making some major discoveries, building up resources at these JV projects. But you also have all these other assets that you are exploring. Where do the major catalysts come from in your eyes for the stock?
Yeah, so, we are a greenfields explorer. We are looking for big projects, million-ounce projects. Depending on where we get those projects to, we're very agnostic on what is the right pathway for us to add shareholder value. So people have seen us do this joint venture with De Grey. Huge amount of money is needed to be spent on these big systems. So this is a great way to balance risk and give upside to shareholders. People have seen us do work where we've discovered lithium, and we've done two great joint ventures. Other projects like Nunyerry, which we completed a drilling program this year, we've done that all on our own. And we still have 5,000 square kilometres of the Pilbara where we keep working through, again, very early stage, doing soil samples, rock samples, geophysics. Some of those targets, some of that work will lead to targets that we'll drill maybe later this year or early next year. And then over in Victoria, we own 100% of the Belltopper. We recently put out an exploration target at Belltopper, 300 to 600,000 ounces. So that really gives an indication of where we think the prospectivity of that project is based on what we know now. We do need to do more drilling, build the geological model at depth, as well as firm up the drilling we've done. So we're excited by that. Just a reminder, it is an exploration target. Do look at the news release and all the disclaimers. So we're still very busy across our portfolio, but it is early stage greenfields. And like all things, we look forward to success, and we don't mind moving off from projects if we don't think they've got value to shareholders. So we're very disciplined in our approach, given that we've got such a great team.
All right, Mike Spreadborough, again, executive co-chairman of Novo Resources, traded on the TSX and ASX under the symbol NVO, and on the OTCQX under the symbol NSRPF. I will post a link to the company's website in the show notes so you can read over that recent news. And please email me any questions you have for Mike, and I'll get those addressed in future interviews. Mike, thank you for the update today.
Thanks very much, Corey. And don't forget, great gold price. So it's a really good place to have a bit of exploration portfolio in your investments.